Spells further danger than this for Stuttgart. Dembélé, brilliant. Rattles in his second goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ousmane Dembélé. That moment sent shockwaves through the world of football. When the golden envelope was opened at the Théâtre du Châtelet in Paris, fans expected names like Kylian Mbappé, Erling Haaland, or even the teenage sensation Lamine Yamal. But instead, it was Ousmane Dembélé, a player once dismissed as inconsistent, plagued by injuries, and overshadowed by bigger stars, who walked up the stage to claim the 2025 Ballon d'Or. The cameras captured stunned faces in the audience. Some applauded with pure joy. Others sat frozen, struggling to process what had just happened. For years, Dembélé had been viewed as the eternal what-if of football, a player with dazzling potential, but always on the verge of collapse. Yet in 2025, he flipped the narrative. This wasn't luck, nor a sympathy vote. It was the recognition of a season where Dembélé finally fulfilled every ounce of his immense talent, proving doubters wrong on the grandest stage. As he walked toward the podium, his expression told a story that words couldn't fully capture. A mix of disbelief, pride, and raw emotion painted across his face. The crowd rose in standing ovation, not just because of his footballing brilliance, but because of the journey he had taken. From the dark days of repeated setbacks to standing on football's highest individual pedestal, it felt like a redemption story written for the ages. And here's where the suspense deepens. How did Dembélé, once labelled as injury-prone and unreliable, manage to outshine not only Mbappé and Haaland, but also Barcelona's golden jewel, Lamine Yamal? That's where the heart of this story begins. To truly understand the weight of Dembélé's 2025 Ballon d'Or triumph, we must rewind the clock. Born in Vernon, France, Ousmane Dembélé's journey to football's summit was anything but straightforward. From a young age, he was known for his dazzling dribbling, two-footed unpredictability, and blistering pace. But talent alone doesn't guarantee greatness. And for Dembélé, the road was lined with obstacles. His breakthrough came at Stade Rennais, where scouts across Europe quickly realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. In 2016, Borussia Dortmund swooped in, and it was there that Dembélé's star began to rise. Under Thomas Tuchel, he became one of Europe's most exciting prospects, winning the DFB Pokal and dazzling with his fearless flair. Barcelona couldn't resist, signing him in 2017 for a staggering fee meant to fill the void left by Neymar. But instead of instant glory came frustration. The injuries began. Hamstrings, ankles, muscles, season after season, Dembélé became a tragic headline of wasted potential. Critics labelled him a medical room regular, a player Barcelona had overpaid for. Fans questioned whether he would ever live up to his price tag, and yet, even during those difficult years, glimmers of magic remained. Each return to the pitch brought flashes of his genius, unstoppable dribbles, audacious goals, and playmaking vision. Fast forward to 2023, the tide turned when Paris Saint-Germain secured his services. Under Luis Enrique's guidance, Dembélé found the balance he'd been missing. Tactical discipline paired with his natural flair. By 2024/25, he wasn't just another player on the team, he became PSG's beating heart. His combination play with Mbappé and his newfound maturity elevated him to an elite level. Week after week, his performances grew sharper, his confidence stronger. And as if fate had written the script, 2025 became the year where the boy from Vernon finally silenced all doubts. But as the world applauded his rise, one question still lingered. How did he surpass young prodigies like Lamine Yamal, who seemed destined for the throne? The 2024/25 season wasn't just another year in Ousmane Dembélé's career, it was the season that rewrote his legacy. At Paris Saint-Germain, where pressure is relentless and expectations soar, Dembélé rose above it all and became the defining star of European football. From the opening match days, it was clear something had changed. No longer plagued by inconsistency, Dembélé displayed a new level of maturity. His dribbling remained electric, but now it was calculated, less showboating, more end product. His crosses found their mark, his goals carried weight, and his assists unlocked defenses when PSG needed them most. He wasn't just contributing, he was dictating games. In League One, Dembélé's stats were phenomenal. Double digits in both goals and assists reflected his all-round influence, but the numbers told only half the story. The real magic came on the biggest stages. In the Champions League against Europe's elite, Dembélé was unstoppable. His solo runs terrorized fullbacks, his vision cut defenses apart, and his work rate off the ball shocked even his critics. He was no longer the fragile prospect of old. He had become a relentless leader on the pitch. The turning point came during PSG's unforgettable Champions League knockout campaign, a journey that would define Dembélé's season and ultimately his career. Against Manchester City in the quarterfinals, he produced a jaw-dropping performance. In the first leg, his lightning-quick dribbles tore apart City's compact midfield, and in the second leg, he delivered when it mattered most, scoring a crucial goal and providing a perfectly weighted assist that tilted the tie in PSG's favour. Commentators hailed it as one of the most complete individual performances of the tournament. Then came the semi-final clash against Bayern Munich. In a stadium filled with tension, Dembélé danced through defenders with the flair and unpredictability that had once made him Europe's most exciting prospect. His ability to glide past two, sometimes three markers at a time, left both fans and pundits speechless. And when PSG finally lifted the Champions League trophy in 2025, the narrative was undeniable. This was not Kylian Mbappe's season, nor Haaland's. It was Dembélé's year. But football is never just about statistics or silverware. It's about storylines, redemption arcs, and moments that capture the imagination. Dembélé's story carried that perfect arc. From years of frustration at Barcelona, where injuries seemed to curse every new beginning, to becoming PSG's unexpected talisman on Europe's grandest stage, he embodied resilience. Fans around the world connected with his journey, turning his Ballon d'Or win into something that felt not just deserved, but destined. Yet while celebrations erupted, another subplot stirred intrigue. The meteoric rise of teenage sensation Lamine Yamal hung in the air. At just 18, the Barcelona wonderkid dazzled with maturity beyond his age, lighting up La Liga and even the European Championship with Spain. Many believed he was on the cusp of making history as the youngest Ballon d'Or winner ever. Whispers spread that Yamal might steal the crown, that the new era had already begun. But when the envelope was finally opened, it wasn't Yamal's name that echoed across the hall. It was Ousmane Dembélé's, and what a stage it was. Paris, the Théâtre du Châtelet, glowing in golden light, played host to football's most prestigious night. Cameras flashed, legends lined the red carpet, and millions tuned in worldwide to witness who would be crowned the best player on the planet. For Dembélé, just standing among the finalists was surreal. Yet when Didier Drogba stepped forward, envelope in hand, the tension became unbearable. Haaland, Vinicius Jr. and Yamal's names buzzed in hushed whispers. And then came the moment. The winner of the 2025 Ballon d'Or is Ousmane Dembélé. The theatre erupted. Some gasped in shock, others leapt in joy. And for a brief second, Dembélé himself stood frozen, almost unable to process it. After years of doubt, setbacks and ridicule, he had climbed to the pinnacle of world football. As he rose to collect the golden ball, tears welled in his eyes. This wasn't just a personal triumph, it was the culmination of years of pain, criticism, and doubt. Fans remembered his endless injuries at Barcelona, the headlines labeling him a wasted talent, and the moments he seemed destined to fade away. And yet here he was, standing tall as the world's best player. Dembélé's speech silenced the room. With emotion breaking through his voice, he thanked his family for never giving up on him, his teammates at PSG for pushing him forward, and his fans for believing when so many didn't. But the most powerful line came when he addressed his struggles. They called me fragile, but tonight I stand stronger than ever. This is proof that dreams don't die, they survive setbacks. His words struck a chord, not just with the audience, but with millions watching around the globe. Social media exploded. Hashtags like #Dembélé Ballon d'Or and Dreams Come True trended worldwide within minutes. Even rival players and former critics praised his resilience, turning his victory into a celebration beyond club and national lines. Yet amid the applause, there was an undeniable subplot. Lamine Yamal's absence from the top spot. Many had tipped the Barcelona teenager as football's next chosen one, and while finishing in the top 3 was historic for someone so young, the night belonged to Dembélé. Still, whispers grew louder. Was this just the beginning of a future rivalry? Could Yamal's brilliance one day eclipse Dembélé's legacy? The stage was set for football's next great storyline. For months leading up to the Ballon d'Or ceremony, one name dominated headlines: Lamine Yamal. At just 18 years old, the Barcelona wonderkid had already shattered records, dazzling fans with his fearless dribbling, creativity, and maturity beyond his years. Many experts believed he could pull off the unthinkable, becoming the youngest Ballon d'Or winner in history. And yet, when the final votes were revealed, Yamal came third. The world wanted to know why. The answer lies in context. While Yamal's season was extraordinary, producing moments of magic for both Barcelona and Spain, his numbers couldn't quite compete with the consistency of Ousmane Dembélé. Dembélé delivered week after week in Ligue 1 and the Champions League, producing decisive goals and assists in crunch matches. Yamal, though electric, was still learning to adapt to the physical and mental demands of a full senior season. Another factor was team success. PSG, with Dembélé at its heart, lifted the Champions League, a competition that heavily sways Ballon d'Or voters. Barcelona, meanwhile, fell short in Europe, meaning Yamal's brilliance often came in domestic competitions where global attention isn't as sharp. It wasn't about a lack of talent, but about timing and circumstances. And let's not forget the psychological aspect. Ballon d'Or voters, journalists, coaches, and captains often prefer rewarding players who have overcome years of struggle rather than crowning a prodigy too early. In their eyes, Dembélé's story of resilience, his journey from injury-plagued exile to world beater, carried more emotional weight than Yamal's meteoric rise. Still, finishing in the top 3 at 18 is no small feat. Many legends, from Ronaldinho to Neymar, never managed that at such a young age. For Yamal, the Ballon d'Or slip wasn't a failure, but rather a promise, a preview of the greatness that still awaits him. Fans already whisper, if he came this close now, what happens when his peak years arrive? Could he dominate the award for the next decade? The night then wasn't just about Dembélé's glory. It was also about the spark of a new rivalry, the experienced champion proving his worth, and the teenage genius waiting patiently to inherit the throne. The football world knows this story is only just beginning. When Ousmane Dembélé lifted the Ballon d'Or in 2025, it was more than just a personal triumph. It was a symbolic passing of the torch in world football. For nearly 2 decades, the award was dominated by Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, with occasional interruptions from Luka Modric, Karim Benzema, and a few others. But now, the landscape has changed. Dembélé's win proved that persistence and reinvention can still outshine hype. Once written off as injury-prone, he now represents the idea that careers don't have to follow a straight line. His rise validates every player battling setbacks, showing that greatness can arrive late but shine even brighter when it does. At the same time, the shadow of Lamine Yamal looms large. If Dembélé symbolizes resilience, Yamal embodies raw, untapped potential. The teenager's close finish shows that the Ballon d'Or is ready for a generational reset. Fans are already speculating. Will Yamal be the one to dominate the next decade, the way Messi once did? Or will names like Haaland, Vinicius, and Bellingham ensure a more unpredictable era with multiple superstars trading the crown? Football's beauty lies in its unpredictability. In one corner, you have veterans like Dembélé proving the doubters wrong. In the other, you have prodigies like Yamal waiting to carve their own destiny. Together, they create the perfect storm, a balance between experience and youth that keeps the sport endlessly compelling. But the 2025 ceremony also hinted at something deeper. The Ballon d'Or is no longer just about individual brilliance. It reflects tactical revolutions, the importance of team success, and even the growing influence of mental resilience. The award has become a mirror of modern football itself. Fast, unforgiving, but also filled with hope for those who refuse to give up. As Dembélé's golden ball glistened under the Parisian lights, the football world realized it was witnessing the start of a new era. The Messi-Ronaldo duopoly is history. The The future belongs to players like Dembélé, Yamal, and the next wave of stars who will write football's next chapter. As the dust settled on the 2025 Ballon d'Or ceremony, one question lingered in every football fan's mind. What comes next for Ousmane Dembélé? His victory wasn't just about a golden trophy, it was about rewriting a career narrative once thought impossible to change. From injury setbacks to consistency issues, Dembélé has turned every criticism into motivation, carving out a legacy that will now forever include football's most prestigious individual honor. But legacies are never static, they evolve. Winning the Ballon d'Or places Dembélé in an elite category, but maintaining that level requires consistency at the highest stage. Can he deliver another year of brilliance for Paris Saint-Germain and the French national team? Will he lead Les Bleus to another major international title, further cementing his place among the greats? These are the burning questions the football world now asks. Meanwhile, his triumph also redefines expectations for his contemporaries. For Kylian Mbappé, often considered France's destined Ballon d'Or heir, Dembélé's success is both inspiring and challenging. It shows that brilliance can come from unexpected places and that perseverance can sometimes rival raw talent. For Lamine Yamal, the message is equally clear: greatness takes time. His runner-up finish may sting, but history suggests it is often the near misses that sharpen a player's hunger for future domination. Beyond individuals, Dembélé's victory signals a new era for the Ballon d'Or itself. The trophy is no longer bound to the predictability of Messi and Ronaldo. It is now open to a wider field where unexpected stories can shine. That unpredictability keeps fans guessing, fuels debates, and ensures that the Ballon d'Or remains not just a reflection of talent, but of narrative, resilience, and timing. In the end, Dembélé's win will be remembered as one of the most emotional, surprising, and inspiring triumphs in recent football history. His story is no longer one of what if, but one of he did. And that transformation from promise to fulfillment is the true essence of legacy. Ousmane Dembélé's 2025 Ballon d'Or triumph is more than a personal victory. It's proof that resilience, belief, and relentless effort can rewrite any career story. From fragile beginnings to football's ultimate prize, Dembélé has transformed doubt into destiny, leaving behind a legacy that will inspire generations. If this story of Dembélé's rise moved you, imagine the countless untold stories football still holds. Subscribe now, hit the like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Dembélé the rightful winner, or should Lamine Yamal have taken the crown? Join the debate, the drama continues here.